Oh, I was about to open it. Um, anyway, like I said in the post, community post, first of all, we're doing SCP readings. Like usual, there'll be a description if you I recommend reading along with me, whatever. Anyway, like I said in the post, it's just like generally. Sorry if my voice sounds different. I'll get into that in a second. Like I said in the community post, by now I will have begun writing world building for my world building project. Again, low fantasy. I'm always open to being given any sort of like ideas for what to structure it as, etc., etc. Anything I said in that post, just think of whatever it is, and it probably adheres to this video. Now, as to why my voice sounds like shit, I presume, and why I'm coughing a lot, and you should probably turn the video down a little bit. Um, I was gonna start writing, and I was gonna start posting a video again sooner, like way sooner. Um, Problem with that, I got sick, as you can hear. Now, whenever I get sick, I get bad sick. This is because I've trained my immune system to last against everything. Last against a lot of things, because I ate dirt as a child, and I think I've eaten mold that was accidental, and other stuff like that. Now, when I say bad sick, I mean I genuinely, wholeheartedly, for a solid chunk of time there, believed on Wednesday that I was going to fucking die. And then I went to bed and then didn't give a shit about it. Um, I had no sense of balance. I had no appetite. I could. My vision was fuzzy. I was running a fever the entire day. Cold flashes, full body aches, coughing so hard I thought I was gonna puke. And then I just let myself stay home and took a nap. And I got like one. I did get up. I made an ice pack, right? Filled a bag full of ice, wrapped it in cloth, tucked it into my sweater, like in the hoodie, pulled tight on the hoodie strings, and then put my ass to bed. And the reason I even did the ice pack is like, I don't want to get the ice pack, that sucks. Is because, again, I genuinely believed I was going to die because I couldn't focus on a single thought for more than maybe 15 seconds. And for like 7 hours at that point, I was in and out of consciousness every 30 minutes. I would go to sleep for maybe 30 minutes at very most and then go right back to bed. Because I would wake up and be like, what time is it? Oh, I've only been asleep for 30 minutes. If when I wake up, I'll be strong enough to eat something. I don't know. And then I'd go to bed, and I'd wake up in 30 minutes, and I wouldn't know where the fuck I was, what my name was, or like what was happening to me. As you can tell, I have lived. I'm still sick though, mostly through my voice and coughing and nausea, though that is not new. Anyway, ugh, as I'm choking down bile. Anyway, we're here to do some SCP readings. I think it's been a little bit too long since my last video, and I wanted to do a little bit more readings. I really want to go through Sports Con, but like I don't want to just do Sports Cons. I don't want my every single SCP readings I do just be like, oh, let's check out the newest contest, because that's never. I think that's lame if I do that, right? Like, well, I don't, because like I did last time where I went through these. Oh my God, hold on. I was about to puke. Okay. Oh jeez. But I don't want to leave the other stuff already written to like by the wayside, because I mean this is a community focus driven. This is like a community driven community. Uh, what you can you tell I still can't fully think properly, like even a little bit. It's like a who gives a shit? You know what I'm trying to say? Like I want to highlight as many different articles I can, and that includes articles that are written beforehand. So I don't want to only make SCP readings when a new contest is up. I also want to recommend you guys all. Um, I'm not signed in. I want to recommend you all also read and vote during contests and whatnot, and give your feedback. I'll pause so I can log in. I don't want you stealing my credentials. I think I briefly mentioned in passing one of these videos before, but my SCP password is longer than my fucking bank account password. Anyway, so we're gonna do a 9K contest reading. If it's long, it'll end there. Even though I'm sick, I will try to do one of these, because I do really care about this medium. That's what inspired me to start writing after all. That's what I want to do professionally. Lame as that sounds. So we're gonna skim a few a little bit. Okay. That's intriguing. Beekeeping monks, huh? That's fun. Is that what I... Okay, so this one is maybe read. If I see... Oh, this one was great. 91.99. If you weren't there when I read it, or if you haven't read it yourself, please go read SCP 91.99. It's such a good one. Coin locker, baby. Fuck, that's an intriguing. We can do that one next time. Nature abhors, memory abates. Have I read you? You? My voice cracked. What the fuck? I don't recognize this at all. How long are you? Okay, we're doing two. Cause that's you drew me in with that picture. Montague etc. Chapter. Wait, what the fuck? Hold on, what? Am I being too loud? What is this? Oh, I'm intrigued. We'll save this for its own dedicated video. Once there was a man who died for only a moment. Years later, he would die again, as all men must. From one death to another, this is the story of everything that happened between. Kondraki? Yeah, Kondraki. Butterflies. I still recognize this motif ages later. Okay, we're gonna read that whole whatever that is in its own thing later. And we're just gonna read SCP-9177 and then again later something else. 9177 is of course Beekeeping Monks. I think that's correct. Yeah, Beekeeping Monks by why do I check for who wrote these at a glance? Loop 11. Let's begin. Item number SC... Oh, we used the old classification. Okay, that's not a bad thing, but I do want to recommend people to use the new object anomalous classification system whenever we can. Item number SCP-9177, object class Euclid. An advanced, really start from my voice. Special containment procedures. SCP-9177 instances are to be placed in a B-SCEP, is that a real? Within a standard apiary enclosure at humanoid containment site 06-3. SCP-9177 instances are to be identified via color-coded biosafe marker attaching their linked SCP-9177-1 instance. A file is to be kept displaying the SCP-9177 instance color designation along with the corresponding 9177-1 instance. Okay, so you're keeping like a file based on you color coding these bees to each other. This is a real thing they do. Color coded biosafe markers. Like it is a real practice to mark some of your bees. I know beekeepers do that because I got into homesteading YouTube content and a lot of beekeep content is on YouTube, and I remember like them like marking queens with like markers so they didn't know who belongs to where and shit like that. It was cool to see. I'm sorry. You know, a lot of apologizing for me this video. SCP-9177-1 instances designated SCP-9177-1A through 9177-1G are to be individually housed in standard humanoid containment cells at humanoid containment site. Didn't we just say this? No, okay, we're elaborating. At humanoid containment site 06-3. Is that the same? Of course, why am I... Oh my god, my head's so foggy. SCP-9177-1 instances are permitted a collective meditation period of 1 hour per week. This session must occur within a secured communal chamber under observation of at least one Level 2 researcher and one member of security personnel. Participation is voluntary but must remain limited to designated times and locations. In the event of an SCP-9177-1 casualty and commencement of an SCP-9177-A event, a number of D-Class personnel is to be escorted by 2 guards in full-body protective suits into SCP-9177's containment enclosure. The SCP-9177-A event should be allowed to proceed without interruption. Once the D-Class subject is fully converted, it is to be designated SCP-9177-1 instance and escorted to the assigned containment cell. Is this like Nalkan stuff? My voice is giving out. Is this like Nalkan stuff? Huh. Oh, okay. Only when one originally dies and then they become a keeper. Dash ones are the keepers? No, dash ones are the bees. Dash A's are the keepers. Yeah. Updated procedure as of November the 28th, blank. Interviews with SCP-9177-1 instances are currently suspended indefinitely. For further notice, any question pertaining to SCP-9177-1's faith have been determined to be unproductive and detrimental to employee mental health and are therefore to be avoided. Intriguing. We can't talk to the bees about God anymore. Description: SCP-9177 refers to a collection of 7 deceased European honeybees, also, scientific name Apis mellifera. Despite the deceased nature of SCP-9177 instances, no decomposition has occurred in any of the specimens for the entire span of its containment. Intriguing. SCP-9177-1 are a group of 7 male-identifying human adults claiming to be part of a medieval monastic order originating from blank Germany. Subjects display fluency in Middle Low German, Modern German, and Latin. When any SCP-9177-1 instances experience clinical death, a corresponding SCP-9177 instance will reanimate through currently unknown means. The reanimated instance will then initiate an SCP-9177-A event. Here is an overview of such event. The event's progression. First, an instance exits the SCP of its own locomotion. Then, the subject engages in aerial searching behavior, ceasing its search when it locates a human subject of physical maturity. The subject then stings the human subject. The subject returns to the SCP, where they then expire. The human subject stung by SCP-9177 will undergo full cognitive replacement over the course of 2 to 3 hours. The process initiates with notable disorientation and mental fog in the afflicted subject. Its condition will then progress to loss of personal memories, followed by rapid acquisition of linguistic, behavioral, and psychological traits consistent with the deceased 9177-1 instance. Upon completion, the subject fully identifies as a deceased 9177-1 instance. The subject retains all prior knowledge, habits, and monastic discipline consistent with the deceased 9177-1 instance while expressing no awareness of its previous identity. Regardless of the sex of the subject, it will always identify as male after the completion of the cognitive replacement process. Trans bees. The subject is now classified as the previously deceased 9177-1 instance. 9177-1 instances show the following traits. Consistent autobiographical recall spanning the course of multiple natural human lifespans. Immediate recognition of other SCP-9177-1 instances, regardless of its physical appearance with no observable uncertainty. Psychological testing has revealed extremely stable self-concepts that persist across SCP 9177-A events, suggesting continuity of an integrated identity rather than basic memory implementation. Discovery of SCP-9177. 9177 was first discovered after locally implanted Foundation personnel received intel pertaining to mass disappearance in blank Germany. MTF Epsilon 6, Village Idiots, was deployed to investigate the disappearance of 5 residents of a local rural town who had collectively left their homes at approximately the same time and had not returned. MTF Epsilon 6 tracked the persons of interest to a remote, partially collapsed medieval monastery located approximately 11 kilometers outside of town limits. Upon arrival, agents observed the individuals collectively engaged in the clearing of debris from the collapsed wing of the structure. When questioned, none of the persons of interest were able to correctly identify themselves, instead providing names that did not correspond to the legal identities. All subjects insisted they were members of the same monastic order and did not acknowledge their civilian lives. At this point, Foundation Command authorized the detainment of all 7 individuals for further questioning. Let me stick some water. Subjects offered passive resistance when agents that removed them from monastery grounds, verbally objecting but making no overt attempts at violence. During the ensuing detainment attempt, MTF Agent M. Blank, newly transferred to MTF Epsilon 6 after completing precursory MTF training, discharged the weapon without authorization, fatally wounding one of the unidentified monks, later designated SCP-9177-1G. Footnote 1. The offending agent received disciplinary measures upon return to Foundation grounds. That is nice to hear. Within approximately 30 seconds of SCP-9177-1G's termination, a single European honeybee emerged from a bee skip located nearby on monastery grounds. It exhibited an unusual direct flight pattern towards Agent I Blank, the human in closest proximity to the beast at the time. Oh god. And stung him in the base of the neck before returning to the hive where it disappeared from sight. I'm sorry, I'm very nauseous. After approximately 36 seconds, Agent I Blank reported feeling dizzy and exhibited severe disorientation. Over the following 2 hours, the agent displayed increasing cognitive impairment, including trouble recalling personal memories, aphasia, and the inability to recognize fellow agents. I see you do not use the Oxford comma. This has bothered me for some reason. The subject was sedated and transported to Foundation Medical Observation. Upon awakening from sedation, the subject underwent the acquisition of uncharacteristic linguistic and behavioral patterns. At the conclusion of this period, the subject no longer exhibited any recollection of his identity and self-identified exclusively with the name previously provided by the deceased 9177-1G instance. Following this incident, 7 deceased bees found within the bee skip were recovered from the monastery site and reclassified as 9177. I realize now what I said here earlier about the declustering of the bees. That isn't true. The bees are just also the people. I had to think about what I was going to say next, even though I knew what I wanted to say. That was so stupid. Anyway. Ugh. Interview log 9177.1. Below are several interviews with SCP-9177-1 subjects conducted by junior researcher Castaigne. With the purpose of ascertaining the nature of 9177-1's immortality, interviews originally conducted in modern German, translated for ease of staff review. Very kind. Very kind of you, localization staff. Interviewer Dr. Emile Castaigne. Interviewee 9177-1A. Forward. Dr. Castaigne questions SCP-9177-1A regarding the SCP and its function. Begin log. The B person is seated across the table from Castaigne. Castaigne. Thank you for agreeing to speak with me, 9177-1A. For the record, can you confirm your identity within your order? The SCP. I am Brother Albrecht. I have always been Brother Albrecht. Castaigne. You are referring to continuity across incarnations here, yes? The SCP. I am referring to myself. Castaigne. Fair enough. Let's begin with the SCP-9177. The bees. Were they part of your monastery before the remanifestation process began? The SCP. Yes. Castaigne. How long have they been with your order? The SCP. Since before my first death, they were still alive then, participating in the hive. Castaigne. And the process by which your consciousness transfers new hosts via the bees. This was intentionally developed. The SCP. We prayed to the Lord to continue. We were answered. Castaigne. Answered how? SCP. Through the bees. Dr. Castaigne is silent for approximately 5 seconds. Was there a ritual involved? A consecration of the hive? Any specific prayers, substances, or preparations? SCP. There was only prayer. Castaigne. Okay. Why did you pray to return to life after death? SCP. So we may endure our faithful vigilance. Castaigne. Brother Albrecht, what you describe violates multiple laws of neurophysics and biology. I would need more than a faith-based explanation to properly document your condition. SCP. You need what your work requires. We need only what we have been given. Castaigne. Let me rephrase. At the moment of your death, did you expect to return? SCP. I expected to continue, yes. Castaigne. That is not an answer to my question. SCP. It is the only one I have. Castaigne. After your first remanifestation, did you experience memory loss, confusion, disorientation, any period of psychological distress? SCP. No. I had died, I was again, the work continued. Castaigne. You mentioned several times now that you continue after death. Continue what, exactly? SCP. Our vigilant watch. Castaigne. Vigilance against what? 1A remained silent for approximately 14 seconds, frowning. Brother Albrecht, I cannot document vigilance as a containment-relevant activity until you explain what the objective of that vigilance is. 1A, quietly. The great evil. Castaigne. What? What is that? 1A. That is not a question we answer. Apologies, sir. Castaigne. Why? 1A. Because Snow is to participate. Castaigne. In what? 1A closes its eyes. In burden. Silence for approximately 30 seconds. Castaigne. Very well. Answer me this. How do we guard against something you refuse to describe? 1A. By remaining. Castaigne. Remaining how? 1A. As we are. Castaigne stands up from his seat, raises his hands to SCP-9177-1A in greeting, and leaves the room. Closing statement. Castaigne has been reminded of his professional duty to end interviews in an official and respectful manner. Side note, did y'all see the Pope's, I forget what they're called all the time. His notes and like the thesis he wrote on AI and being against it. I've never been more proud to be a Roman Catholic. It can also now use religious concerns as a reason to not use AI in any future work. God, I fucking love that First Amendment. And that's a real thing I can do. And if they disagree, I can take their ass to court. Anyway. Interview log 9177.2. Transcript. Interviewer Dr. Emil Castaigne. Interviewee SCP-9177-1B. Forward. 1B is being questioned on information provided by the previous -1 instance. Castaigne. Good afternoon, SCP-9177-1B. I would like to ask you some questions about something another brother of your order called the Great Evil. 1B shakes its head vigorously. The Foundation really would prefer you to speak to me in this manner. 1B stares silently at Castaigne. Vow of silence. 1B nods. I should have guessed. Thank you for your time. I will ask another subject. Closing statement. All subsequent SCP-177-1 instances have been screened to determine presence of a vow of silence before interviews occur to ensure productivity. I don't think I could ever take a vow of silence. I also don't think I could ever be a monk. I want too often. After having just finished saying yesterday how little I want, which is actually... Okay. I'm beyond want, but I still want, you know? Maybe I'm just too sick to, like, actually graduate. Interview log 9177.3. Interviewer Dr. Emil Castaigne. Interviewee SCP-9177-1C. Forward. 1C is being questioned information provided by previous SCP-1 instance. Castaigne. For the record, state your name. 1C. I am Brother Convert. Castaigne. One of your brethren has referenced something called the Great Evil. Is this a term shared by your entire order? 1C. He should not have spoken of that to you, but yes, it is. Castaigne. Is it an abstract concept or an actual entity? 1C. It is what we guard against. Castaigne. Brother Corbett, is that Convert? Answer me. Does it have form? 1C. Not in this world. Hold on, very nauseous. Castaigne. A location? 1C. No. Castaigne. Then in what way does it pose a threat? 1C. By being known. Castaigne. You're saying that knowledge of it increases influence, then by speaking to me you are drawing it closer to me. Side note, the Foundation plays fast and loose with this through a lot of articles. What do you guys think is the general knowledge the standard staff body has on cognitohazardous memetics? Because my thoughts are immediately, oh, it's memetic. It's some sort of memetic cognitohazardous entity, either falsely misinterpreted as, or a part of some sort of demon or demonic ritual cult, maybe the devil himself, who knows, that manifests through cognitohazardous memetics and whatnot. I'm thinking to myself, like, why isn't Castaigne thinking this? And are just memetics not that known in universe to prevent people from seeking them out? I don't know. Anyway, you're saying the knowledge of it increases influence when by speaking to me, you are drawing it close to me. 1C. Knowledge is proximity, yes. It is why we do not disclose of its nature in detail. Castaigne. Okay, how many people have ever known of it in detail then? 1C. Too many. Castaigne. Then why not induct more members into your order? Surely more people would be vigilant to help you keep it at bay. Why limit yourselves to 7? 1C. Because 7 is already too many. Castaigne. Do you expect the Foundation to aid you in your vigilance? 1C. We expect nothing of you. Castaigne. Then why cooperate with me at all? 1C. Because you already know enough to be a risk. My brother never should have told you anything, and that was foolish of him. Castaigne is silent for a moment, and then begins wringing his hand together as he speaks to 1C. Castaigne. A risk to what, Brother Convert? 1C. To us, to you, to everything. We do not believe there is a distinction. The more to know of its being, the more vigilant we must be. Castaigne. Oh, shit. Okay. Castaigne, you speak as though this were an infection. 1C, you speak as though this were not. I've been fighting that one off for a bit. Dr. Castaigne begins to speak more rapidly. Has this thing ever harmed anyone you know of? Do you even have any proof of its existence? 1C, it has not, as we have guarded against it dutifully. We live on, that is all proof we need. SCP-9177-1C, you've invoked an undefined anomalous threat and are now insisting that my documentation endangers the world. I'm going to need you to be more concrete than this. 1C, no. Castaigne, no? 1C, you asked why we do not induct new brothers. This is why. Curiosity is not a virtue, Doctor. That's funny considering monks historically are the basis of many great breakthroughs in science and math. Castaigne, then let me ask one final question. If knowledge of this entity were to come out and your vigil fail, what would change? 1C looks away and does not answer. Dr. Castaigne leaves the room and slams the door behind him. The recording microphone picks up muffled, agitated yelling directed at an unknown target from the hallway. Closing statement. Following the interview, Dr. Castaigne was approached by senior researcher Schwartz to access his condition. That should be assessed. Castaigne maintained that he was perfectly fine and declined further psychological assessment. If anyone's reading this that wants to edit this, this should be assess. End log. Interview 9177.4. Interviewer Dr. Lemuel Castaigne. At this point, I would get a different interviewer. Interviewee SCP-1D. Same forward where they're being questioned. Castaigne, I am here to ask you about the great evil. 1D. Then you are a fool indeed. Castaigne, sure. Well, what is the great evil? 1D. It is what we remain against. Castaigne, that is not an answer. It is a thing, a state, a mechanism. 1D. You will receive no such thing. Castaigne, does it exist physically, yes or no? 1D. Not in a way that ends the question. Castaigne, does it affect the world outside your minds? 1D. It affects the world through minds. Castaigne, has it ever killed anyone? 1D. Everyone it reaches, Doctor. Castaigne laughs sharply. Convenient, metaphorical, real holy, aren't you? Why hasn't the world ended that yet? 1D. Because we are still here. Castaigne, and what if one of you fails? 1D. Then it will become easier to notice. End log. Interview log 9177.5. Emil Castaigne interviewing SCP-1E. Same forward. Enters the room taking unusually large and rapid steps. I wish we had a date to go along with this. Enters the room taking unusually large and rapid steps. It's actually kind of weird that we don't have a date. His face and hair appear to be dripping with water. Is the great evil real? 1E. Yes. Castaigne. Then what is it? 1E. It is what must not be known. Ugh, fucking A. Castaigne, you keep saying that like it's an answer. Is it a thing, a thought, a goddamn lie you've told yourself for centuries to make up for the fact that there is no reason? You're stuck being alive forever and you have no purpose, so you spend eternity driving everyone else nuts with your providing bullshit. 1E, it is a presence. Castaigne, where? 1E, in questions like yours. Castaigne laughs breathlessly, which I will not do because it will lead to me coughing vigorously and maybe finally puking. I don't want to do that. You die and you crawl back like insects to facilitate it. And I'm supposed to stop at poetry? I need proof. I need to see it. If you, is no one? Is it just me or does this like Snap feel kind of weird? Like if we had like a site director, that's the word. Like breathing down his neck, I feel like that would help this like stick the landing more. Yeah. I need to see it. If your vigilance fails and we all die in a K class, who do you think the Foundation will blame? Motherfucker, you'd be dead. Who gives a shit if you blamed? Also, they'd blame them for failing. Bunch of innocent holy monks or the stupid junior researcher was supposed to just talk about bees for an hour and end up unleashing some uncontainable threat. What is it? Tell me. Show me. Castaigne bangs his fist on the table. 1E. Knowing is how it spreads. Castaigne. Then maybe it should spread. Maybe I'm tired of being afraid of nothing. Senior researcher Schwartz over the in-room intercom. Please calm down, Dr. Castaigne. Quietly tell me what it is, please. 1E. I will not know my brothers. Sound of a chair overturning. Then I'll make you. Recording ends abruptly. End log. Addendum 9177.1. Incident report. On the 26th of November, year redacted. Incident Report ID number 9177.1. Summary: during interview log 9177.5, Dr. Emil Castaigne displayed severe increase in hostile behavior towards SCP-9177-1E. Approximately 3 minutes into the interview, Castaigne left his chair and advanced to SCP-9177-1E in a manner that suggested intent to assault the subject. Security personnel stationed outside the interview chamber intervened within 10 seconds of the escalation, restraining Dr. Castaigne and removing him from the chamber without injury to SCP-177-1E. While being escorted to a secure temporary holding chamber, Castaigne continued to exhibit extreme agitation and repeatedly demanded that SCP-9177-1E be allowed to finish its answer. Footnote 2 over its. Dr. Castaigne originally referred to SCP-9177-1E as he. This is against Foundation protocol. That's funny, because it's an anomaly and therefore not human, and does not gain the same pronouns as humans. That actually is a good note. I did like that. An immediate psychological evaluation determined Dr. Castaigne to be temporarily unfit for duty. Subsequent examinations have ruled out the possibility that this outburst was caused by anomalous stimuli. Castaigne has been placed on mandatory psychiatric leave. The possible site assignment is pending. All involvement of Dr. Castaigne with SCP-9177 has been suspended indefinitely. I would have suspended at the third interview, dog. Addendum 9177.2. Administrative note regarding status review. 27th of November, year redacted. A complete comprehensive review of all data relating to Castaigne incident has yielded no definite evidence of any external anomalous activity beyond those typically expected of the SCP and the SCP-1 instances. Accordingly, the great evil described in interviews is at present regarded as a non-verifiable belief system internal to the subjects. Nevertheless, continued psychological monitoring of personnel assigned to this file is advised. Classification remains unchanged, where it's Euclid. Note: Foundation analysts note that following the previously mentioned incident, 9177-1 instances have increased daily meditation periods for the first time on record. That's intriguing. That's actually a pretty good note, because it could lend credence to the file in either direction. I like that. That's an upvote from me. I like that a lot. I hope this isn't a dead bee. I know they can sleep, so I hope this one isn't dead. And it is a honeybee. It's cute. Honeybee got the little fuzz. My mouth feels dry. Is that a bad thing? That's fine, right? Yeah, that's fine. Um, I am very nauseous and kind of want to go to bed. I wanted to read a second one, but I don't think that's happening tonight. I apologize, pals. This was, regardless, this was fun to do and I had fun. Thank you for listening to me, even though I'm very sick. I recommend you go give this file the vote you think it deserves. And hey, you know what? I'm taking suggestions. If there's a cool file that you think I should read, hit me with it. Fair warning, if it's like one of the popular ones, I'm just not going to read it. Like, I'm not reading 2008, I'm not reading 1730, I'm not reading... Okay, maybe one day I'm going to read through 914's testing logs, but that's an exception. Oh, also, I have Containment Breach, because Containment Breach is on Steam. Now, get the one that was released on February of 2026, and has a hyphen in the name. That's the most up-to-date one. That is one that was officially endorsed by Regalis, which was the lead dev of the original Containment Breach. And it is adjusted to suit modern systems. So maybe one day we're going to get a playthrough of that from me, huh? Just have to get off my ass and do it. I bid you the rest of your day to be good and whatnot. Have a good one, pals. I hope I can